Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Elaine, and on my channel we explore creativity through books and journaling. I share tips, ideas and inspiration to help you express yourself and the joy of reading creatively. Today I'm so excited to share a special project with you. It's the very first completed signature for my Junk Journal the Board Game challenge. If you're not familiar with Junk Journal the Board Game, it's a journaling challenge I created in the style of a board game. You roll a dice, get a prompt, and move along the board, creating as you go. It's a fun way to spark creativity, try new things, and explore new styles. If you'd like to join in too, the board and all of the extras are available on my Ko-fi for free. It has been such a joy to create in this junk journal. Whenever I'm in the mood to journal but don't know what to do, I just roll a dice and create something inspired by whatever prompt I get. It really takes away that fear of the blank page or the stress over making something pretty enough. This journal is all about experimenting and finding new ways to create spreads. The prompts have challenged me to think differently about journaling, and I've ended up trying things I never would have thought to do before. The cover for this journal was originally meant to be for a dark academia journal that I was planning. You can actually watch the video of me creating it here on the channel. But in the end, I decided to go with something else for that journal and repurpose this cover for Junk Journal the Board Game. The first few pages of the journal are practical. They're dedicated to storing the board and the prompts for the challenge. But from there, the real magic begins and we dive into the spreads inspired by each prompt. Ephemera Street. Use only vintage photos, postcards, tickets, and other ephemera to give a nostalgic feel. For my first prompt, I decided to experiment with a new marbling paint. It didn't quite turn out how I imagined, and to be honest, the paint had a very strong smell, but it was a fun experiment, and I'm happy with how the vintage ephemera came together. Bookish Cove. Use dictionary pages, book pages, covers, and end papers. For this spread, I used elements from the Dark Academia ephemera kit and the Hades and Persephone kit, both available in my Etsy shop. I love how the pieces from these kits come together, and I would love to create an entire journal in this style. Floral Card. Collect a variety of flower images from magazines or old botanical prints to create a vibrant garden collage on your page. Add decorative elements like lace or ribbon for extra texture. Normally I'd incorporate dried flowers or leaves for a prompt like this, but I wanted to do something else. So I created a collage featuring blackberry illustrations and a pretty little flower that my soon-to-be sister-in-law gave to me. Bookstack Card. Pick a book with a distinct colour palette and use it as an inspiration for a vibrant and cohesive spread. For this prompt, I was inspired by my beautiful edition of Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales. It features this ornate gold scrollwork and an illustration of Rapunzel. I loved trying to recreate this design and have been obsessed with using it to make journal covers since. Scrapbook Square. Add journaling cards, playing cards, or tarot cards. This spread brings me back to the more traditional style of junk journaling. I layered playing cards and ephemera to create a classic interactive junk journal spread. Crafter's Court. Create a windowed page or add acetate or tracing paper. I love adding tracing paper to spreads, so here I created a traditional page with this beautiful typography on tracing paper. Book stack card. Create a page that combines elements from your favourite books, quotes, illustrations, or even cutouts from book covers to form a unique literary collage. I was rereading a favourite book when I got this prompt, so I used it as my inspiration. I included images from Unsplash and illustrations from Pinterest to capture the essence of the story, and then hid them behind a more traditional junk journal spread inspired by the book. Coffee break. This prompt is meant to give a little creative nudge without being too specific. You can stain paper with coffee, create a coffee themed page, or simply relax with your journal. Paper Lane incorporates song lyrics, sheet music, and musical elements. This prompt inspired me to create the Phantom of the Opera kit for my Etsy shop. I've included a few of the elements from the kit in this spread, and I cannot wait to make the full journal with this kit. Vintage Crescent. Use fabrics, lace, ribbons, and other textiles. Here I went back to a more traditional junk journaling with a mini fabric center page and this delicate lace ribbon border. Textiles always add such warmth and texture to a spread. Journal Junction. Use natural elements like leaves, twigs, and pressed flowers. This prompt quickly became one of my favourites in the journal. I wanted to create a forest fairy vibe, so I surrounded this whimsical imagery of fairies with dried petals, leaves, and some fluffy feathers. It's one of the most magical spreads in the journal, and I loved working on it. Vintage View. Use postcards, stamps, envelopes, or letters. Postcards are a staple in junk journaling. They're perfect for adding journaling space while keeping the design cohesive. Book stack card. Design a spread that represents a diary or journal entry. Use handwritten fonts, sketches, and ephemera to capture that personal touch. Since the journal was getting pretty chunky at this point, I kept this one pretty simple, focusing on handwritten elements and some light ephemera, just to keep the pages flat and preserve space. Inkwell Avenue. Use paint or ink of a single colour to create various shades. I went a little bit differently with this one, and I just kind of explored the theme of ink more so than sticking to a single colour, and I added this little interactive tuck spot filled with ephemera just for fun. Book stack card. Find or create vintage style book covers and use them as the focal point for a spread. I wrapped up the first signature of the journal with a tribute to Elizabeth Gaskell. This spread features prints from a vintage book cover of Cranford paired with illustrations from an early edition. It's simple yet elegant and the perfect way to close this chapter of the journal. So that's it, my first completed signature for Junk Journal, the board game. I have really loved working on this journal. It reminded me that journaling doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be you. One thing I have realised as I've been playing this game is how freeing it is to have a prompt to guide me. Sometimes staring at a blank page can feel overwhelming, but with these prompts I always have a direction to start from. Some of my favourite spreads in this signature came from prompts I wasn't sure about at first, like using a book cover for inspiration. I ended up creating something more elaborate than I usually would and using colours that I often avoid. So if you're curious about trying the challenge for yourself, don't forget to check out my Ko-fi page. All the resources are there for free and I would love to see what you create. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Until next time, happy journaling!